Hey, hey, party people. We got another episode for you today, episode 7. It's going to be my cousin Maddie Dykes. She's just been to Africa, so looking forward to talk about that with her. And she's also a very bright person. Should be good. We'll see you then. Kia ora team, here we are, episode 7. I'm here today with my cousin Maddie Dykes,
Hi.
the one and only. We've just had lunch upstairs with our gran.
Mm-hmm.
That was fantastic. I didn't eat. I have my wisdom teeth out, so I'm staying away from that shit. Maddie, do you want to give us just a little introduction to yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Maddie. I'm 22 and I'm doing my PhD in psychology at the moment in Dunedin.
Shit.
And doing clinical psychology as well, which is interesting. So that's what I do with my days.
Life. So PhD, that's 3 years?
Yeah, about 3 years.
So you say you're doing your PhD and clinical psychology.
Yeah.
So you're working as a clinical psychologist at the moment.
You do the training sort of at the same time. So at the moment I'm taking 2 years out to work on the PhD. But like last year I was doing clinical work as a trainee. So
What was that like?
yeah, it was really good. It was like before that I'd had 4 years studying. So it was good to actually see people and
Bit of hands-on experience.
yeah, exactly. No hands though.
Yeah.
It's not on. But yeah, it was really cool. Like just actually talking to people and hearing their whole story, like hearing.
Shit, was it intense? Or
Yeah.
what was like your method?
Yeah, well, you always start off like really open. You just say, "What are you here for? What's brought you here?" And then with different people, you have to sort of
Obviously, cater to the personality.
yeah, because some people will just go, "Well, this and this and this happened," and then some people take a bit more sort of probing. But yeah, it's a weird situation to be in where people are telling you so much of their life, like more than you've probably told
Anyone else?
Yeah,
Hard. That is buzzy.
yeah,
They're just 100% opening up to you eventually, I suppose.
yeah.
How long does it take normally for them to kind of crack them open, I suppose?
It definitely varies heaps. Like some people are just, and you can probably think of people that some people just tell you everything, whereas some people need to. Sometimes it's the case that they're not too sure what's going on or why they're feeling like that, and don't necessarily want to admit that they're feeling like that. Or sometimes it's that they just want to get to know you first.
Yeah, before they're comfortable.
Yeah.
So do you think that kind of extends to mainly extroversion and introversion?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say.
Or openness general?
Yeah, because you talk about
both?
when you talk about different personality types, that's the kind of things you talk about. How open different people are.
Yeah.
But then some people are. It also depends how you've grown up. Some people have grown up in a family where if you say, "Oh, I'm feeling a bit shit today, can I stay at home?" then that's fine.
Yeah.
And some people, your parents might talk about that, whereas some people have grown up in this family where they'd say, "Toughen up, get out there," and yeah. So definitely depends on all those different things.
A lot of variables. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have any major psychoanalytical influences that you like in particular, like Freud or Jung or
definitely those ones are kind of they're sort of some of the classics that you think of, and they've definitely contributed a lot to
fundamentals kind of.
Yeah. But definitely a lot of it's outdated now. Some people still use those approaches and that works for them, but it's all it differs a lot depending on who you've got, because
So you kind of got like a toolbox a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
So different tools and different people.
Yeah, so for some people, a lot of what they're experiencing is based on their interactions that they had with maybe their parents or like trauma earlier on in life. Whereas some people
go way back.
Yeah. Whereas some people it's not. They've had a perfectly what we call normal upbringing, and they just get anxious about things for whatever reason. So
would that be more something like biological that's wrong with them?
Yeah, that's sort of the age-old question that is it your upbringing or is it your genes?
Nature or nurture.
Yeah, exactly. And what the consensus is that it's basically a combination of both. And there's also sort of increasing lines of thought that how you're brought up can actually sort of change what genes are expressed.
Is that right?
Yeah, so that's
it
kind of
could
interesting.
change like your personality traits more?
Yes,
or
to an extent. So
obviously there'll be some traits that can be altered more than other traits though, right?
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Say like the proclivity to argue with people. Would that be something that could be affected more by nurturing, or
yeah, it's with each thing it's hard to say, but
it's very case to case,
yeah,
situational,
yeah.
individual.
And the other thing is you've got to think that there could have been one situation where for that person they got fired up and they argued and it got them a really good outcome.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
so
they go,
positive
okay,
feedback loop.
yeah, it's reinforcement. So that's another sort of basic principle that's often at play.
So they're kind of learning as well as they go what's
Yeah.
working and what doesn't work in the real world.
Yeah.
And that's just subconsciously as well, I suppose.
Yeah,
Half the time they
yeah.
don't even know.
Yeah.
Did many people come to you in the clinical work and like kind of tell you what they think is wrong?
Yeah, a lot of people have theories, or some people have a vague idea. Like they might say, I was quite unsettled in my childhood or as a teenager, and I think maybe that's affecting how I am now, but don't necessarily know. So sometimes that's just talking that out and then helping. It's like it's teamwork. So you work together to think of why maybe this is affecting the way that they are now.
Totally. I mean, that's kind of how I see these podcasts as well. It's kind of like working together to find things out that you don't necessarily know about. Or even just sometimes it's good just to speak your thoughts out loud, because sometimes you don't really know what you think until you articulate it a bit more.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like as a clinical psychologist, that's got to be one of the main things, just kind of letting people talk and you just kind of being able to listen to them and just be like, okay, they just needed to kind of talk about some shit.
Yeah.
Just being there for them.
Yeah.
You feel like, I don't know, I feel like that's a major part of it.
Yeah, definitely. We talk about guided discovery. So sometimes it is that, I might have an idea that, oh, maybe this has gone on and maybe that's what's driving them there. So we might sort of direct them with what we're asking to get there. Or sometimes it is that you just start talking and then the person that you're talking to comes up with a really sort of profound idea of why they're acting like this, and that's often the best way for them to find it out themselves, and then it just makes so much sense for them sometimes.
So was it quite successful for you? Like in your practice, did your clients pretty much benefit from it?
Yeah, it varies a lot, because some people with more sort of deeply entrenched problems that have often been going on for a long time, that can take a while to change, so I was only doing it for the last year.
So you kind of had short-term cases more.
Yeah, but at the same time there were some people that benefited a lot, and it was really cool to see that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Did you find it was mainly males or females that were coming into your practice, or?
We definitely had mostly females.
Is that because, do you think females would feel more comfortable with a female clinical psychologist?
Yeah, definitely for some people, especially...
on average, I suppose?
Yeah, I guess it depends, again, on people's backgrounds. If they've had a lot of trouble with males, then that's going to obviously affect how much you want to open up. But as a clinical psychologist, you learn to be someone that gets people to open up and feel comfortable with you. So
yeah, it's totally the job.
Yeah.
But I suppose, what I'm trying to ask is, like, do you think there would be some cases where a client would just not open up to, say, the opposite sex or the same sex?
Yeah, for sure. Some people, definitely. It also works the other way, that some men, especially in some cultures, going to a female psychologist for help feels really wrong for them.
They kind of take that as, like, I don't know, like they're losing a little bit? Or
yeah, well, sometimes it's...
they don't want to reach out to help. Kind of sexist a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you could call it that. But, you've got to respect that that's where they've come from and that they're not going to feel comfortable with that. And, it might not be that they're sort of like overtly sexist, but if they're not feeling comfortable, like...
Well, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, exactly. But, exactly.
I've heard that psychology is quite dominated, like the study of psychology is quite dominated by females. Is that right? Or?
Yeah, definitely. Psychology covers a lot of different areas, but for the clinical stuff, there's definitely a lot more female clinical psychologists around, which does make it hard for, especially in New Zealand at the moment, we're starting to recognise that, for example, rural men are having a lot of problem. And the other thing is that suicide rates, like successful suicides, the numbers are way higher in men.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, especially middle-aged men. So
why do you think that is?
I don't know if it is. I'd say.
Do you have a theory or anything?
I'd say that it's part of our culture. We talk about the
tough
she'll
man.
be right.
Yeah.
And it is, and you do hear cases of something quite major, whether it's in your personal life or that something's happened with your business that's put you in serious debt that can hit, but often men are too, some men are too proud, to go and really tell someone.
They're definitely more likely to be too proud like that than women anyway.
Yeah.
A really interesting thing that my dad was telling me the other day is that he said people who are bottling up their feelings when they're depressed or whatever have a higher chance of becoming healthy.
Oh, like
getting over it.
Yeah.
Working through it. And my running theory on that was like, I suppose if someone does have depression and they're thinking like that, then they're not playing a victim role, kinda, and they're kind of just like, oh well, they kind of might be thinking more generally like, oh, this is life for everyone. Everyone's life is kind of hard, and if they're bottling up their feelings, like, well, no one else is saying their shit, so I'll just get on with the shit and do it.
Yeah.
But just a theory. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how reliable that study is either. I mean,
yeah. I guess two lines of thought down that. One is that sometimes when people get depressed, it might even be that they just sort of at the start when they're just starting to feel a bit down, you might say, nothing goes right for me. Then you start to, we call it the confirmation bias. You look out for everything. Yeah, that it doesn't
confirmation
go right
bias
for you.
is so dangerous. It's
yeah,
so dangerous.
for sure.
And yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
so it's kind of, they see it as like it's the world against them a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
and
they start picking out all the bad things that are happening to them and not taking notice of any of the good things at all.
Yeah.
Or even sometimes turning the good things into bad things.
Yeah. Or sometimes if something good happens, you might say, that was just luck.
Yeah,
it's not that. It's not
crediting it to luck.
Yeah.
Not a roller coaster ride of just ups and downs, which is pretty much life anyway.
Yeah. The other thing could be that often when people become depressed, they'll get into a cycle where they might feel bad, so they'll go to bed, stay in bed, and then often you find it really hard to get up, especially when you're depressed. You might feel like sleeping all the time, so you don't get up and go out and do things. So that just creates this cycle where you're just doing less and less, and then you feel less there's less for you to feel sort of fulfilled by.
Meaningful, no purpose, kind of.
Yeah. So I guess if you're trying to bottle it up and maybe carrying on with life, I guess then that.
Okay, yeah, as long as you're keeping busy.
Yeah.
I feel, it seems to me that the best cure for depression is finding a purpose.
Yeah.
But that's easier said than done.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you can just do that.
Yeah. And as we were saying before, the genetic versus environmental, some people do have a genetic disposition
I've heard it's like, isn't it like 80% or some bullshit biological?
I'm not 100% sure on like the numbers, but it definitely
there's a factor in it.
Yeah, you'll see some people that are in like what we might call like terrible conditions that you think, God, that'd be horrible.
Yeah,
but they're happy as. Whereas you might see some people that are in in
a really good position.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's an interesting thing I heard in terms of money relating to that is I think it's about once you can live at a comfortable level. So I think it was something like earning about 50,000 a year or something like that. I can't remember the numbers.
Right.
Don't quote me on that, but something where you can pay your bills comfortably and have all your necessities. Then money won't make you any more depressed. You know,
Right.
like having more money won't make you more happy.
Yeah, so I guess
etc.
it like plateaus.
Plateaus,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
That's the word. That's the word. Nice. Yeah, but that's interesting. Our depression rates are pretty high here, aren't they?
Yeah, they're pretty shocking, especially our suicide ones. They're like one of the highest.
Highest in the OECD, aren't they?
Yeah. That's pretty bad.
Have you any other thoughts on that? Did you see any of that in your practice at all?
Yeah, well, it's hard to, because I don't have anywhere else to compare it to. But, you know, you just hear what people are going through, and yeah, often it is money related, or that business is going a certain way. Yeah, so it's, it's pretty bad for our country. And I think in the election and at the moment, it's been like a hot issue as well. So hopefully we'll see some change.
Have any recommended like courses of action? What you think might work?
I'm hoping that the new government will take some action. They've just done an inquiry. I was reading an article where they interviewed the woman who ran like the previous inquiry. So they did one in like 1996, I think.
Okay.
So the country was sort of in the same state as it is now, when our numbers were really shocking. So they did this inquiry, and they found out that they needed to put more funding to X, Y, and Z.
Who are they inquiring into?
The mental health.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, mental health issue. So they went into hospitals, saw what needs funding, and they really improved some of these things. But then in, I think it was 2012, maybe they axed that team, and so over the last,
since then it's developed again.
It's sort of gone downhill
Crazy.
again. So because you can imagine, and they said what was happening after they did the stuff that they did back in 1996 was the people that were seeking help went from like 1.5% up to 3%. And then they got...
So more people were seeking help.
Yeah, which is really good. But then when they axed a lot of the funding and axed this team, they still had that higher number of people seeking help, but they weren't getting the money to get more people to help the people. So that's kind of interesting. So hopefully soon there'll be a bit more money that goes into it and just get more space and numbers of people who can help with it.
I suppose like the hurdle you have to jump over in terms of the funding thing is like what are you sacrificing for that?
Yeah.
But obviously it's a big sacrifice because if you don't do it, because then you're sacrificing lives as well, it seems like.
Yeah. But I wonder because our poverty rates have been growing a lot as well. And that's another thing that this government wants to address. And you've got to think, like, if people are growing up in poverty, you're going to be more likely to have not just mental health issues, a whole lot of other issues. So it's like maybe if they put in the effort at that level, that's going to help a lot as well.
Yeah, I think so. One thing I did see recently is our definition of poverty relative to the other world is a bit more broader, and so it includes more people.
Yeah.
So that makes our poverty rates look higher in terms of relatively to the world.
Right.
I'm not saying that doesn't mean anything should be done to it.
Yeah.
But that could be a reason why our poverty rates look higher as well.
Yeah.
I think we have a broader.
That's true. It's
term of
it's kind
poverty.
of weird how they do like.
How everyone has a different type of
Yeah. Like, come on.
Yeah, but yeah, because what did she do recently? She did that. Came out with her child poverty policy. Did
Yeah.
She? Well, she came out for gold, didn't she?
Yeah,
really? It wasn't really a policy.
Putting a goal on it. Which
I'd like to see what's the action's going to be on it. 'Cause that's kind of what I expected her to say. Because I kept seeing the headlines like Jacinda Ardern's coming out with her child poverty policy.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what she's doing.
Yeah.
But then it was just the goals, and I was like, oh well.
Yeah.
It's all well and good.
All
setting
very
a
well,
goal,
yeah.
But how are you going to do that?
Yeah. I guess at this stage in like a young government, they have to sort of settle that, say what they want to do first.
Oh, definitely.
But,
they should say
yeah.
that what they want to
Yeah,
do first.
yeah, because it holds them
I
accountable.
suppose I blame the news outlets for that, for advertising as their
Yeah,
policies
yeah,
about to
that's
be
true.
released. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mm.
Yeah, depression, it's definitely a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
You ever had like any friends you've been depressed yourself?
I haven't been like clinically depressed, but I think I'd say probably like everyone, you have times where you just feel really down.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, for me, imagining feeling like that all the time and trying to do anything, you know, do what you do in your everyday life while constantly feeling like that.
Yeah.
It gives you a bit of an idea of what it's like. Yeah.
Definitely.
But,
I feel like I was depressed for like 6 months, but like I didn't even know it when I was, and I looked back and I was like, oh, bro, you're definitely down around then.
Yeah.
But when I was depressed, I was just like an asshole to be around.
Yeah.
Mainly for like my friends and shit. And then I was just trying to do shit all the time, just constantly keeping my mind occupied. I was going to the gym heaps, I was doing heaps of like band work, heaps of university work, just keeping myself busy. And also just surrounding myself with people that, I don't know, it felt like my friends kind of pissed me off more. Maybe it's because I had like higher expectations for them to like make me happy subconsciously. But if I surrounded myself with people that I didn't necessarily have like expectations for them to fill, and they were positive people, it was kind of just like I just worked off their positivity and like didn't expect anything from them.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. That could work.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's interesting, like everyone has different ways
yeah.
that help them out. And, you know,
Like we're saying, it's case to case. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone's so different. Everyone's so complex. There's just such a it's a bundle of things. I think that writing has got to be beneficial as well. Just trying to write down what you think is actually going on.
Yeah, yeah.
If you don't want to be going to talk to someone, which some people probably aren't going to want to do, talk to a psychologist, right? Some people just aren't going to be comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Whereas writing can serve as that. You can kind of like try and help
Yeah.
yourself.
And another thing that people find quite helpful to do is like even sort of like keeping like a diary of like, what did I do today and how did I feel? And then sometimes when you look back and reflect, then you're like, oh, look, it looks like when I'm hanging out with these people, or maybe it looks like the couple of days following when I go out drinking, I'm feeling really shit.
Start finding some causes.
Look at some patterns, because sometimes it is as simple as
lifestyle
taking
change.
something out or being like, this person is
Bad
kind
for
of
me.
toxic. Yeah,
And that's a hard thing to do as well.
definitely.
Especially if they're like a really close friend.
Yeah, yeah.
And you kind of realize, oh shit, this is actually, if you say you were keeping a diary and then you find out that, oh shit, this person is not helping me move forward positively in life.
Yeah.
But like once you've got that connection,
then
it's a hard thing. It's the same thing with a bad like romantic relationship. You get stuck in it. It becomes a bit of a trap sometimes.
Yeah.
Which is a horrible outlook, but it happens.
Yeah,
That shit happens.
And some people have it with family as well, which is almost extra hard because, you know, your family...
you almost feel like the unconditional love thing.
Yeah, yeah. But sometimes it can be really hard to say no to your family, and you might find that you're just doing too much.
Yeah.
And you feel like they're expecting all these things from you, so sometimes you do need to just take a step back and be like, well, look, I've got to look after myself.
Yeah.
Here for a minute, guys. Yeah.
Definitely. That would suck. You ever felt like that?
Not with my family. My family's pretty good.
Yeah, your family's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, depression's great. Not. What we do is we might have a little break now.
Yep.
You got a song for us?
Yeah. I was thinking of by Mumford & Sons. And
you are a Mumford & Sons girl,
I
aren't
do,
you?
yeah. But I've got one with, I think his name's Bubba Mal.
Okay.
He's like South African, so it's kind of a cool like African song,
Ooh.
which might be kind of relevant.
Very good. We'll look into that a bit more soon, eh?
It's called
What's the name?
There Will Be Time.
There Will Be Time?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll be back soon. Enjoy that song. Make sure you follow the link. Take care, kids. And we are back. Good tune.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. Yeah. Have you seen them live?
No, I haven't.
Man, that'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of videos of them doing live. And
Yeah.
It looks like the crowd gets pumping.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty...
I've also heard they're big drinkers.
Yeah, I bet. They're like Irish. Are they Irish? I think they're Irish.
I think they're Irish.
So, surely.
Yeah. Yeah, Irish love a drink, don't they?
Yeah, so I hear.
What do you think's like the biggest drinking culture in the world? Because we have a pretty big drinking culture.
Yeah, ours is kind of like... weird, though. Like, ours is kind of like excess. I don't know if I live...
I think ours is like bingy.
Yeah, bingy. It's bingy. But then, like, I don't know, Germany, they're into beer, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah.
Lots of places love to drink, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, even America had a pretty big drinking culture. But, like, when I was there, it just didn't seem as intense.
Yeah.
But they drank just as frequently. Maybe
Yeah.
more frequently, but not
Yeah.
as intensely when they did
Right.
drink.
And they have more drugs, don't they? So, like...
Oh,
Yeah.
weed's legal over there.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
well, true.
Heaps of places. New York's legal now, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I've heard California's going for like a magic mushrooms referendum.
Ah,
Buzzy, yeah.
there you go.
They're legal in Amsterdam, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amsterdam's pretty
Full on.
loose, eh?
You been there?
No. Might go there soon, though. Hopefully.
You're going to head over to Europe. You been to Europe before? You have,
Yeah,
eh?
I've been to Europe, a couple of places. But I'm going to go to Berlin, actually, this year. So yeah, might be able to pop over to the Netherlands.
Smoky.
Yeah.
Shout out.
I have to catch him. Yeah.
Why are you going to Berlin?
There's a conference, actually, that I'm
What
going
is it?
to. It's like a... I should know, shouldn't I, since I'm going to it.
Yeah.
Neuroscience.
Oh,
Yeah.
when is it?
July.
Oh, mean. Does that get funded for you?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Get paid to... Or...
All the
get
flights
my flights and stuff
Yeah,
paid
yeah.
for. So
That's mean. How long will you be there?
I'm not sure. I haven't organised that yet, but hopefully.
You're looking to do a
few
little bit of
weeks.
travel after.
Yeah, I think so. The conference is for like 5 days, so should probably go to that.
Probably.
And then
Neuroscience, that'd be cool.
Yeah. And then take a bit of time to go around a few places.
Yeah. And you've just got back from Kenya. Is that right?
Yes, a couple of weeks ago.
Let's go.
All
Let's
right.
do it. Give us the rap. Give us the rap.
Yeah, well, I was there
What's the deal?
for a month and doing volunteer work. So I was staying with a host family, which was pretty cool. So you really got, doing the volunteer work and staying with the family, you really got like the authentic Kenyan experience.
Which is what you want.
Yeah, it was way different to what you get if you're a tourist, I
Yeah.
think. Because we did a couple of touristy things like...
Was there much tourism there? Or?
yeah, safaris and stuff are really big.
Yep.
And yeah, seeing that kind of thing. So we went on safari and it's just completely different because like we went there and it was kind of weird for us because it wasn't only Kenyan people around you.
You had been living in the culture,
Yeah,
fully
yeah.
immersed, and then you're all of a sudden
Yeah,
completely out of the culture.
yeah.
Was safari cool though?
Yeah, it was really cool. It was amazing. Yeah.
What'd you see?
We saw, they talk about the big five. So we
yeah,
saw
yeah.
them. What is it? A leopard, lion, elephant,
Buffalo.
Yeah,
it?
buffalo and rhinoceros, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Aren't they endangered? Are they endangered?
Yeah, or the different types. I think they're pretty endangered. But we got to see a white rhino as well, which they're really endangered, I think. So we saw a couple of them.
They're the colour white.
No, they're not. I
Oh.
don't know why they're called white rhino, but
Sad
maybe
face.
they were dirty.
I kind
I
of
don't
like
know.
visualised that for a second. I was
Yeah.
like, hey.
That'd be cool, like a bright white
Yeah.
rhino.
Trippy as.
Yeah. It had a massive horn though. Like
How big are we talking?
they must be solid. Like they're solid as. Like they're huge.
You wouldn't run it straight at them.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. Not that tall, to be fair. But just like.
What do you reckon? Like, yay high, tall?
I'm trying to think. Probably from the ground to like there.
The
Maybe?
E.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Or
okay.
maybe taller. I don't know. It's hard. I didn't get too close to one. You know,
No.
I was in the van, so.
Mm. Were you scared at any point?
Yeah, actually at one point it was quite funny. We were driving along and the driver's like, "Oh, here's some baboons. we'll stop to take a few photos, but we won't stay for too long because they can get quite aggressive.
I've heard they can get crazy.
They have like massive teeth too.
Yeah, they're vicious things.
Yeah, and so we stopped and took some pictures, and that was all good. And then like the health and safety laws are pretty loose over there.
Yeah.
But then we noticed that one like crawled up the passenger side door and just reached in and like grabbed a bag, and we were like,
Snaky.
oh my god, yeah. And we were like to the driver, who's called Francis, we're like, Francis, he just took your bag. And Francis was like, what, where? And we were like, oh, the orange bag. And he was like, oh, there's my pants in it. And
the not wearing pants.
He had, I don't know, just a spare pair of pants, you know, safari driver, you gotta take.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. But and then in the meantime, so he was freaking out about his bag, and then so on the safari van you have like a pop top, so you stand up and look out the top. In the meantime, this massive baboon jumped like on the van right next to us, and we were like, ah. And then, and so he like put his foot down, and so that the baboon like fell off the back.
Yeah. Ruthless.
Yeah, but like if we'd waited a few more seconds, it would have just toppled into where we were. I have no idea what I would have done.
So he lost his pants.
Well, no. Then he was like, "I need my pants." So he turned round, and we were like, "No!" Like, and he hopped out.
Buddy.
Yeah, he hopped out and told, there were a couple of other vans, so he like told them what had happened. I presume he's speaking in Swahili at this point, but so all the drivers hopped out. The other drivers, I noticed, closed all the doors, but our one wasn't closed, but that's fine.
All good.
And,
come on in.
Yeah. And he so this monkey had gone up the tree with like this bright orange bag, looking stoked with himself.
Yo.
And then all these drivers like walk up. One of them had a crowbar, and one of them just picked up this massive rock and like threw it at the tree. And the baboon was like, "Oh shit!" and like jumped away and dropped the bag.
Oh.
And so then they ran in and got the bag, but it was pretty funny.
Hectic. Imagine if you've seen him just get attacked by these baboons.
Because they could do so much damage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like and I think they have rabies as well, possibly.
Oh yeah.
Like
I'd say so.
yeah.
Wow.
But
Safari.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's full on. It's no joke.
Fun though.
Yeah, it was fun.
Carry on. Kenya.
Yeah.
What's next on the agenda to share?
Yeah, so the work I was doing, I should probably talk about because that's what I was there for. So I was working for this organisation called Positive Life Kenya. And so this was...
Sounds positive.
Yeah, it is really positive. And so it was set up by a woman, actually my host mum, who I was staying with.
Yeah.
To provide support basically for women living with HIV.
Okay.
And so it's a real HIV...
Like a shelter or...
No, it was more... So the women were all living around the area. They reach like heaps of women.
Okay.
So most of them live in slums. And so where we were, the town had a lot of prostitution. So there's like this cycle.
Yeah.
Where, yeah. And
what was like the percentage of women who had HIV then? Do you know, or?
I'm not 100% sure actually on the stats, but.
Up there. Yeah.
And I guess the other thing about the stats is some people don't
even
get tested.
Hard to get the data, yeah.
Yeah. So the aim was to get people to get tested, because if you get tested and you find out that you're positive, you can get the medication that will keep you alive.
Which is the goal.
Yeah, yeah. But if you don't, then you spread it.
Yeah.
Especially in that kind of place. And also you don't... if you have children, they have a chance of having it as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's better just to know to be on top of these things, because it is manageable these days.
Yep.
And the medication is
awesome.
free. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what was your job then as such?
So there were a few things that the centre did. So part of it, and what I was involved in a lot, was home visits. So we'd go round to these different slums and visit the women. And we also helped women, I should note, that didn't have HIV but were just really struggling. So there were a lot of single women, either their partners had left them or had died, but with big families. So, there's one lady that we met.
Were they mainly big families over there?
Yeah, because it's sort of a...
Not much contraception.
It's not so much as part that, but it's also part that having a big family is
it's part
good.
of their culture.
Yeah.
What are we? What's a big family?
So there was one woman that we met that had 8 kids.
Okay.
And her father, the father had left.
Yeah.
So in these situations, like, these are not people like here. You'd probably be on a benefit.
Mm-hmm.
But over there, there's nothing like
like
that.
that.
So it's like, if you want to feed your kids for that day, you have to go out and work.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, so if you have a young child, like this
That's
lady,
part of this. Is that part of the cycle with the prostitution as well?
Yeah, exactly. And there's also school fees. So high school isn't funded. And primary school is, even though it's funded, it's quite hard to get to because often there's not many around.
Yo. Shit.
Yeah, so a lot of these women would, have to go out and you work just like a casual job for the day to get enough money to get your food.
Okay.
Or to cover the
What
rent.
type of jobs were they doing?
Like, it might be cleaning a house, or it might be picking some crops, or just little things like that. And there's no sort of job security, you know.
Yeah,
You're not going to go along and be like, employ me.
Okay.
It's like, I'll give you this much if you do that.
Okay.
So a lot of our work was going around, seeing those people, seeing how they're going, doing profiles for the kids because they'd get sponsorship. Or we'd put their names forward for sponsorship so that people can pay for them to get to school.
What was in the profiles then?
So we get all their name, age, family details and things. And we'd also ask, you know, what do they like doing? What do they want to be?
Yep.
Things like that, just to get an idea of who the kid is. So that was cool. That was a big part of what we did. And then they also had a training centre, which I wasn't involved too much in. It taught women to, they had sewing. What else did they have? Beadwork. Just taught them a range of skills that they could get a job with, basically, because, as I said, a lot of these women haven't been to high school, so it's really hard. So that's kind of the cycle of poverty. You grow up in a slum, you can't go to high school because your parents can't afford to send you, so you're not educated, you can't get a proper job, so you stay in the slum. Yeah,
I see. Circle of life for them.
It's really hard to get out of, especially when you don't have the support. You know, you can't go along to wins and be like,
I'll chuck us some coin. What was the male-female interaction like over there?
As in how
did they treat each other?
It was interesting. It's like there's a slightly different dynamic to here in that the men are sort of like the provider, or like the alpha almost, you know, like the man of the household. There was quite that sort of
quite
idea.
Old school in terms of that.
Yeah, but that's not everywhere. Like, I should stress that in places like Nairobi, which is the capital, it's quite forward. Is
that where you were? Or?
I was just out of Nairobi.
Oh,
yeah.
How big is Kenya, population wise?
It's a lot. I think the population of Nairobi was like the population of New Zealand.
Okay, and in terms of land mass, what is it relative to New Zealand? Kenya.
I'm not sure, actually.
Is it bigger, similar? Smaller?
It must be. I wouldn't say it's smaller.
Similar or bigger?
It's probably a little bit bigger.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
don't quote me on that, though.
for the geography, where are we in Africa?
Yeah, so it's on East Africa.
East Africa.
Yeah.
And towards the Antarctica end, or more towards the equator?
It's more southern.
It's more southern?
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's not. It's not. Oh, it's sort of in the middle.
In the middle of Africa, the continent.
It's on the coast.
Yep.
But it's like on the east coast and sort of halfway down the east coast.
Okay. Did you go to the beaches and stuff there?
Yeah, we went to Mombasa, which is a coastal city.
Yeah.
We went there for a few days, it was really nice.
Yeah, as the beach is quite beautiful.
Yeah. Some of them were quite dirty.
Hot
which
tourist
was
spots,
a
or?
shame. Yeah, they had lots of resorts that would have their own private beach, which looked pretty amazing, like white sands and things.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mombasa was quite a cool place.
Okay.
Very
cool.
hot. humid.
And how did you go about sorting all that out? How did you get the job? If someone else wanted to do it, someone else wanted to help out the way you did.
Yeah, so I went through a company called International Volunteer Headquarters. So they have, if you go onto their website, they have heaps of different places in the world that you can go and different projects you can do. So there's like, they had like elephant conservation in Sri Lanka, like all these different things. So that was quite cool. But if someone was going back to Kenya, I would go like straight to the organisation there was called it was called NVS, I think, so Network for Volunteers or something.
Okay.
And that way you like avoid the IVHQ registration fee. Which, you know,
Sneaky.
Yeah. But the thing with IVHQ, for me, I had no idea like what was over there, and they organised everything for you, which was really good. And
it was self-funded, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So how much did you need to raise for that?
The flights were just over 2,000 to get over there.
Oh, one way.
Return.
Oh,
yeah, probably 2,500.
Yeah.
And the actual program fee was around, I think it was around 600 US.
Okay, so like $1,000.
Yeah. But that includes like your stay there and you get fed.
So it's a few grand, really.
Yeah.
If you wanted to do this thing.
Yeah.
And you did fundraising and stuff for that, right?
Yeah, I did fundraising, and most of the money that I fundraised I just spent it on the community over there, like as a donation. So that was cool. Yeah.
Hey, well, good on you.
Thank you.
Very beautiful thing you've done for the well-being of those Kenyans.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Highlight, low light, scariest thing, something interesting you learned. Most interesting thing you learned.
Okay, highlight would have been when I was over there. There were some girls that wanted to go to high school. And so my parents were able to sponsor them. So it was really cool to be able to see where they came from. That if they didn't have sponsorship, that they'd just be hanging around these slums. So that was really cool. Low light, probably the plumbing. You just like couldn't be sure that a toilet was going to flush, which is like, you know, you got to kind of plan for those things. Like you got to know if a toilet's going to flush before you. Yeah.
Classic. Yeah. I know what you mean.
And what else? Something interesting.
Something that scared you.
Something that scared me. Once I had this.
Apart from the baboon.
Yeah, the baboon was pretty scary. But one day I was walking along, and when you're like the they call us like white people Mzungus, which I think means it technically means English speaker, but it pretty much means like
white person.
Yeah. And so people would like yell out Mzungu to you, and people were quite excited to see you. So like one day I was walking home and someone just decided to walk with me, and that happened a couple of times actually. And most of the time they're really nice and just genuinely want to hear about where you're from and what you're here for. But one day when I was walking along, a guy said, he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, can I ask you a question?" And I said, "Yes." And then he was like, "Would it be alright if I said that I loved you?" And I was like, no. And then he was like, so I tell people sometimes, because a lot of people ask you to marry them. Yeah, just, you know, naturally.
I mean, you can't help it.
Yeah, well.
That happens here for you, doesn't it?
Yeah. But so I was like, oh, I have a husband. Because sometimes that's a good way to just get people off that track.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, where's your husband?" And I said, "Oh, back in New Zealand." And he was like, "Oh, so can I not love you?" And I was like, "No." And then he said, he was like, "Oh, what about on contract?" And so he was like basically asking me to be a prostitute.
Ah, yeah.
And I was like, no, like, and then he was like, "Yeah."
That's hectic.
I was like, like at first I sort of
Is this
thought
in
he
the
was
light of
kidding.
day or
Yeah,
nighttime?
yeah, in the light of day. If it was at nighttime, like I would have been very scared.
Yes.
But yeah, I thought he was joking, and then he was like, "Oh, you wouldn't be the first." And then so I just got really angry at him because you know it was quite like scary,
Yeah.
or you know just thinking about.
What did you say to him?
Yeah,
What
I
did
was
you
like,
say?
I was like, that is very rude, and I was like, don't. Yeah, it was like that. It was like I was like, leave me alone. You're being very, very rude. So very harsh words. But it got rid of him. So
You know, I walked away with his tail between his legs.
yeah, yeah. But yeah.
That was it. Okay. Most interesting thing you learned.
Most interesting thing I learned. Probably learning a lot about their government and their way of life. Like there was a lot of corruption and stuff in, say, in the police.
Ah, real.
Yeah, like we went past some police talking to some people just on the side of the road in a slum one day, and the people that I was with said, "Oh, they're probably basically those people were selling drugs and just paying off the police."
Oh, real.
So it was interesting, and also things like
That doesn't surprise me actually.
yeah, like you hear about that, but just actually seeing it is kind of interesting, and also
Yeah, hard.
like their roads were terrible, and just realizing that that's because they don't have the funding to like have good roading.
Yeah.
Like it was just
Are we
interesting.
talking like gravel roads or just like really bad?
Well, they had sealed roads, but often they'd have like massive potholes that you had to drive around, or there was something wrong with the road, so they'd just divert all the traffic off the side onto this like makeshift gravel road, which was kind of interesting.
Did you go out there like party?
No, I didn't. Some of the people that I was with at New Year's did.
Oh yeah, you're over for New Year's.
Yeah.
What was the buzz for New Year's?
It was pretty. People got really into it. So,
Right.
we were at Mombasa on the coast, and so they went to a beach party, but I didn't because I was like, not sure. Like it's kind of risky. Like as I said, like the interest in white people, and also people think often that they assume you're from America and that you're really rich. So it's like if someone wanted to steal, not that like most people don't have that intention, but if they did, you'd be number one target.
Did you feel a bit under threat of say rape or violence at night times?
Yeah, I didn't go out. I wouldn't be on the street at nighttime.
Yeah.
And they basically, the volunteer organisation was like,
Don't.
Yeah, even if you're a block away from where you're staying, get a taxi. Like, or
Real.
Uber was
Wow.
a way to go.
Uber was running there?
Yeah, Uber was really good.
Mm.
Yeah, because even with the taxis, they gave us specific taxi companies to go with.
Still some dodgy taxi drivers out there.
Yeah.
Man, that's hectic.
Yeah.
So did you see any violence or anything over there?
No, I saw a lot of effects though. So in 2007 they had a really controversial election, and there was a lot of.
When was that? Sorry.
2007.
Oh yeah.
So a while ago, but
Bloody decade now.
yeah,
Shit.
that's right, 10 years. Jeez. But there was after that there was a lot of they'd refer to like the post-election violence, which was from them. So we saw a couple of people living in the slums that they'd had head injuries from the post-election violence, and so they.
Oh really?
Yeah. So some of them.
So
were
there's
like,
big riots and whatnot.
Yeah, and so over there they have everyone sort of belongs to their family as part of a specific tribe. So they have a whole heap of tribes, and often a lot
How
of
big
people.
are the tribes?
They're big. So people's that's sort of like their ancestry,
Okay.
if that makes sense. So they don't live in the tribe, but
Is it all genetic tribes or?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So we'd be in a tribe.
Yeah, we would. There'd be the Balclutha tribe. Be really nice. But people would. So in the elections, if someone came from your tribe, you'd vote for them.
Ah, okay.
And I don't know how it worked with the other tribes. Like if different ones had different sort of allegiances.
Yeah.
But so when there was this controversy, I'm not exactly sure what the details were, but this post-election violence was different tribes being like, fuck you, man, you're from this tribe.
Hey.
Yeah. And there was also, so there were head injuries we saw. There's also one of the women that we met that had HIV that was because of like a gang rape after that.
Real.
So like pretty, like it was real.
Very vulgar.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, but apart from, like, I never saw any violence over there. And people would be like, for example, when you're driving, people would toot the horn, but it wasn't like angry. It was just like, move, I'm coming in. Whereas here, you know, if someone tooted the horn, it'd be like, fuck you, you idiot. Like, like it was kind of, yeah, it was a funny sort of dynamic, like.
Interesting.
A bit more straight up.
Yeah.
Almost, yeah.
Okay. So did you see many other white people not from New Zealand over there?
In the volunteer program, most of the people, I only met one other New Zealander while I was over there.
Yeah.
So lots of the other volunteers were from different places. I saw a couple of other, I'm talking outside of like tourist things like safaris, because naturally there's going to be.
Yeah, that's main. They'll be dominated by.
Yeah.
Your gringos.
I saw a couple of people, like a couple of nuns.
Oh yeah.
And then one guy that, I'm making an assumption, but I think he was like a Mormon or something. And yeah, so a lot of sort of missionaries, which was kind of interesting.
Was religion quite big over there?
Yeah, most people are Christian, or on the coast there's a lot of Muslim people, just because of the way that it's. I think on the coast, since there's a lot of people coming in, or in the past, like, I don't know, the Muslim people have obviously come in and built a lot of stuff.
They're spreading.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So mainly Christian though.
Yeah.
Like really orthodox religion, or
yeah. So not
there's a lot of prostitution though. So
yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like all of the kids had a good knowledge of Christianity.
Okay.
So you obviously grow up learning it. It's that kind of thing. But not everyone goes to. Most people wouldn't go to church on Sunday, probably. But one day I was walking through one of the slums actually, and I had a backpack on, and it had a little, you know, the like name tags that you get at the airport, like a rubber. It was like a kiwi, and they were like, one of the kids was like, oh, "What is this?" And I was like, "It's a kiwi," and they were like fascinated by it, and then they're like, "Is this your god?" And I was like,
hell yeah.
I was like, yeah, well, first I was like, "No, it's a kiwi," and they were like, "Is it your god?" And I was like, "Yes, okay, yeah, it's my god." And they were like, "This is a god, this is a god." And then they were like, do you know God?" And I thought they meant like, do you know who God, like what the whole deal is with God? And I was like, yeah. And then they're like, oh, she knows God.
Personally.
Yeah, and I was like,
he's alright.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Have you met Kiwi though? But yeah, so they all know about God.
Could everyone read over there?
If you'd been to school,
Primary school.
Yeah, you're sort of able to. They learn that.
So do you think most people would be able to read, or do you think less than half?
I'm not sure. It's hard to tell.
Too hard
actually.
to say.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because even going to primary school, like probably I'd say, you know, there's probably a lot of kids that have other problems going on, like even dyslexia that would never be picked up on.
Yeah, too true.
And helped. Yeah.
What about like TV and stuff?
Yeah, it was so in the host family that I was staying with, they had Wi-Fi, they had TV with like the kids watch Disney Channel. So my little host sister, she sounded like an American girl because she like watches Disney Channel and YouTube and everything.
Okay, yeah.
In the slums, most people don't, but some people did have a TV, and I was like, I thought it was so you'd be in a like a corrugated iron tin shed, and yeah, some people had TVs in there, and so that was interesting. Yeah, like
weird.
Yeah, maybe they just picked it up.
What would they watch? Did you know?
I don't know. They'd have it off. Like actually, once when I went on, I'm pretty sure it was just like static on it, which was kind of
good shit.
Yeah, like love this, but yeah. So that was kind of interesting.
Oh yeah. Anything else you want to say about Kenya?
I mean, it's an amazing place. And definitely, yeah, as I said, for an authentic experience, volunteering is the way to go. Probably with anywhere as well. Yeah.
Hard.
And it's also awesome to see how much what seems so little to us, how much
What
of a
we take for
difference it can
granted.
make. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, because I've heard. Oh, I can't remember where the girl's from. Do you know the lady that wrote Infidel, the book? Hmm.
No.
I think she says in her book, this is like, uh, Jordan Peterson was saying, like, it's just amazing how, like, all this shit works. Like, how we have, like, electricity and, like, I can video on my phone and record on this. It's just amazing how this works. And this lady, I can't remember her name, who wrote Infidel, but she's from Muslim background.
Yeah.
And she was just went to Denmark, and she was just amazed at how, like, there's a digital, like, bus schedule,
Yeah.
and the bus turns up on time.
Yeah.
This is just like, that's just like next level for them. They're just like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
How was this is a thing?
Yeah.
They just don't even know.
Tiny things, yeah.
Just those real small things that we just take for granted every day.
Yeah. Like there's one of my friends took a picture of a kid doing something on their phone, and then they were like, "Oh, do you want to see?" And so she showed this child the picture of him, and he was just like, "What is like?" Didn't understand, like, because you wouldn't.
How
like,
is that?
If you've never seen
Yeah, what is
a
how is
photo
that a
being
thing?
taken, you'd be like, "Oh,
That's so like, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah,
you know,
like,
it's pretty bizarre."
oh, those small things.
Yeah, like we've grown up with it, so we understand it, but you'd just be like,
Everything. Oh man,
what?
imagine not. Oh, imagine not. So they not have photos at all, or they have like physical photos.
"Well, they must, yeah, they must." But like, if you live in a slum,
probably not.
yeah, you don't, you know, no one's
You're
taking
not
a
splashing
photo
out
and then
for a
going,
camera.
yeah, and then going to get it printed and
Yeah,
You know, like,
Wow,
that's
imagine
just-
not having photos.
yeah,
Photos are like the best way to like time travel, basically.
yeah. But I guess like when you think about like when we were younger, we had physical photos before we had, you know, even
Digital,
like
yeah.
digital cameras. But our mind can like make that
We can
jump
make
because
that
we know
connection.
that if
Yeah.
you take a photo, you can get a physical copy.
It
of
almost it almost makes more sense that it's digital now. That you've
Yeah.
got this electronic device taking a photo,
Yeah,
and it's on the device rather than you have to get it printed off.
yeah,
So backward.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's mind blowing.
Oh, cool. So Kenya was good.
Mhm.
Did you just to jump a bit? Have you been reading anything good lately?
What have I been reading? Not really, but I've been watching the Australian Open.
Oh yeah,
Has
yeah.
reminded me recently of when I read the Andre Agassi,
See it up there? Green book. Second shelf
the
down in the
very
middle.
one.
Yeah.
Open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
That made me like I read it a few years ago, but watching that just made me reminisce over how good that book was.
I've heard it's apparently the best sports biography or autobiography. What's the difference?
Autobiography.
Autobiography.
Yes.
Autobiography is when
Yes,
they
yeah.
write it, eh?
Yeah.
And biography is when someone else writes it
Yeah.
through them. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I've heard it's the best one.
Yeah,
Apparently. It
it's
must have
so
the best
amazing.
ratings. Yeah.
Like,
I should probably read it.
yeah.
Sat right there. I
Yeah.
haven't read it.
My dad's read it, so
No, well, I have to.
I mean,
now.
like it's not that Dad can't read or anything, but he's a smart guy.
Shot out camp. Oh yeah. Have you
Um,
been So you watched the Aussie Open there?
Yeah, or a bit of it. Not like religiously,
Yeah, yeah.
but I followed it.
You been playing any sports? You gonna be playing any sports this year?
Just keeping up with running.
No.
Yeah, I've just been getting back into that since coming back.
Yeah. It's always a rough job getting back into it.
Yeah. So I might do a few events this year, hopefully.
Hard.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. And you watched any good movies or anything recently?
Any good movies? What did I watch
Or
on the
TV
plane?
shows, maybe?
TV shows. Please Like Me on Netflix. It's
Haven't heard of
great.
it.
It's
Is it?
really good. I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix. Yeah.
Short summary?
It's an Australian guy, and in the first episode, his girlfriend dumps him because she's like, "I'm pretty sure you're gay," and he's like, "No, I'm not." And then she's like, "Yeah, you are," and he's like, "Oh, yeah, I think I am." So it's like it's a comedy, but it's like it's kind of a
Serious
different
issue as well?
sense of humor. Yeah, and it covers a lot of different issues. It's
Yeah.
a great show. Movies I watched on the plane. I watched The Big The Big Sick. Is that a movie at the moment?
No. What's running in it?
It was this couple that get together, but the guy is I think he's Muslim, and so his parents want him to marry a Muslim woman. But
Yeah. I've seen that.
And
that's
then someone
that funny
someone gets sick.
that
He's a
funny
comedian.
guy. Yeah. He's on Silicon Valley as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. That is good. I've seen that.
Yeah, that was a good.
It's like a rom-com.
Yeah, but
pretty much.
but a bit better. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
better than
good.
some
That got
of others.
really good reviews, I think, as well.
Mm.
Oh, nice. Yeah. What do you think of the plane movies?
Um.
Better than nothing, but God, they're kind of hard to
Yeah.
watch. I wouldn't want to watch like a really like intense movie that you have to pay a lot of attention to. Something
Yeah.
like a comedy is probably what
Yeah,
you want to go for.
definitely.
Like that you can kind of just watch
Mhm.
and understand by just watching it and not
Yeah.
having to pick up every line.
Yeah, that's right.
Um,
I went through a season of Friends actually on one of the plane.
How long was the plane ride?
I had an 18-hour one from Auckland to Doha, and then you go 5 hours down to Nairobi.
Where's Doha?
It's like it's right next to Dubai.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you go around any other countries in Africa or?
No, just stayed in Kenya.
And it was for a month?
Yep.
Flyby?
Sometimes I missed home a lot, and at the end I really wanted to come home. Just because
Missed your Christmas and stuff as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
Missed a
living that
hell of a
Kenyan
do
life.
here.
Yeah, so I hear.
Mm.
Man, grandparents around. But there was a bit of trifle going down.
Oh, a couple of beers here
Yeah.
and there.
All good.
Yeah, no, it was actually good.
Yeah.
What'd you do?
We went on safari at that
Oh.
point. I had a couple of ciders. Tusker ciders. That's the way to go over there apparently. Tusker beer.
Mm.
Popular.
Cider you go to in general in terms of alcohol?
Yeah, I don't really like beer. So over there, I normally like a gin and tonic or a red wine.
Ah, yeah.
But their red wine tasted like syrup.
Ah, beautiful.
And it was weird when you ordered a spirit over there. So if I'd ordered a gin and tonic, they bring out like a small bottle of gin.
Oh, okay.
And you just get that.
And no tonic.
Or you have to get tonic separately.
Ah.
Yeah. It was weird.
Like
but
those little ones like that. We gin
yeah,
like that.
it wasn't quite like the tiny like single serve ones. But it was I guess it's kind of like that big.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that was funny.
We normally get the drinks flowing on the podcast, but I'm not meant to drink because of my wisdom teeth.
Yeah.
And you've got to drive.
Yeah, I do have to drive back to Dunedin.
And we're safe people.
That's right. Don't drink and drive, folks.
Danger. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're probably just about ready to wrap her up.
Yeah, we've covered a bit.
Yeah, we got through a bit. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Can't think of anything.
Any other shout outs?
Um.
Anything you want to sell?
Um.
Come see Maddie if you want some clinical psychology.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Oh, well, just quickly, what was your PhD on?
I'm doing sort of neuropsychology stuff, so looking at what parts of the brains.
Shit, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, it's quite cool.
And you're in your second year of that, or
Yeah.
hard?
So getting into that.
Oh well, let me have it. Let me bloody read it once you're finished.
Yeah, I'll pass it
How
on.
long does it got to be?
She'll be fairly hefty, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what the number that they have on it, but
You'll probably exceed it anyway.
oh god, daunting. I'm avoiding.
Are you
writing
enjoying
stuff at the
studying it,
moment.
though?
Yeah, I do really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that sounds like it'd be hella interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, I'll be keen to have a little gander.
yeah.
Cool. So I do like this higher virtue test thing, where it's just like A or B. Okay. It's pretty simple. It's
Yeah.
pretty self-explanatory.
Okay.
So the first question is OCD or untidy.
Sometimes one, sometimes the other.
No, you have to pick one.
Okay. Probably untidy.
Okay. Comfort or adventure.
Adventure.
Compassion or competition.
Compassion.
Harmony or honesty.
Harmony.
Group or solo discussion.
Group.
Okay. And purpose or pleasure.
Purpose.
Happy and sad or content?
Content.
Question or answer?
Question.
Power to the individual or power to the group?
The group.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Very good. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, Maddie.
No worries.
It's been a hell of a do.
Yeah.
Covered some pretty cool topics, I think. Look
Yeah.
forward to listening to it. And I hope y'all enjoy it as well. I'll give you a wee
Yeah.
handshake, mate.
Hey.
Cheers.
Great.
That was episode 7, guys. Maddie Dykes. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it. It was pretty fun. I had a good time.
I enjoyed it.
Okay. Have a good day, people. Catch up.